on the internet. Make sure that they're not meeting someone. If they meet a friend online, make sure that they're not going out to meet them. Make sure that your kids know not to give out their personal information, that they don't give out their address, they don't talk about what school they go to, they don't talk about who their friends are. In the Any Kid Anywhere presentation, we have a slide that has a football team. Because people post everything on Facebook these days. It seems like. So, like, say you post a picture of your volleyball team. You guys won championship. A predator can look at that and they can see, okay, well, I know this girl plays volleyball. I know where she goes to school because he can look at the uniforms. All he has to do is look online at the school's schedule, and he can find out where she's going to be at Friday night because there's a home volleyball game. That's all he needs. He comes, he knows what she looks like because her face is on Facebook, and he finds her and follows her home. I mean, it's as easy as that. So, it happens everywhere. Everyone likes to say it's not going to happen to me, but it can happen to any of you. They can pick them up at the malls, they can pick them up at school, they can pick them up online, at church. There's, traffickers and predators. They know where to go to find these vulnerable kids, and I promise you, they're much better at finding them than we are. They're much better at finding the victims than we are at finding them. Any other? I would say it's mostly coercion. At some point, it becomes an abduction, especially if they're underage. If they're taking those kids somewhere that their parents don't know and they're underage, it's considered an abduction. But most of the time, they gain the victim's trust because these victims that they're looking for are vulnerable. So they use those vulnerabilities to get them to trust them and get them to depend on them for whatever they're giving them, whether it's nice clothes or food or a place to stay. And then at some point, the kids figure out that this is, they talk them into doing prostitution. And then when they try to get them out, like Brittany, they took her in a hotel, and one of her friends, or one of the girls tried to leave, and they beat the crap out of her. So, that's kind of.
And then in one of your stories, you said one of the traffickers was in the same school, and if you knew he was a trafficker, or if they knew that he was a trafficker, our laws are that fine.
He was underage as well, and I don't know if they had enough evidence to get him. But I think part of that story was her brother was in a gang. And that's how she got pulled in, because the gang told her, if you don't do this, if you don't prostitute yourself, then we know where your family is. We're going to kill your family. We're going to kill your brother. And I think that kids can stay on campus until they're 25. So these kids are legally enrolled in school, and they come to school, and then they pull the kids out of it. They find ones that are victim, like that girl was vulnerable because her brother was a gang member. Different things like that.
They look for those vulnerabilities. They supplement, low self-esteem. Maybe the common denominator in the videos is there's things going on at home. There's something going on at home, and that it's a divorce, drugs, one thing led to another, and there's usually a recruiter. There's a gang member in that school, and that's what he's been trained to recruit, what he's looking for. So he's the Romeo, and he's, okay, let's invite her to a party. They invite her to a party. They get her drunk. They get her taking a couple of marijuana